The traveler. No one knows where he came from. No one knows his real name, but wherever he appears, lives quietly change. Cassian's fame preceded him, swift as wind. He trained before sunrise and continued after darkness fell. He ate little, slept less, never drank with the other soldiers, never missed a day of training, and never admitted he was tired. The villagers admired him. The soldiers envied him. Cassian believed he had discovered the secret of greatness. More, if 10 miles made him strong, 20 would make him stronger. If 100 swings of the sword improved his skill, 500 would make him unbeatable. Cassian saw no gray, only brave or weak, and Cassian had sworn never to be weak. Then, one morning, his body betrayed him. The soldiers were training outside the village when Cassian challenged his captain to a sparring match. The older man hesitated. "You've trained since before dawn." Cassian raised his sword. "Tomorrow's might." Soldiers laughed. Then his breathing changed. His movements became heavy. His sword slowed. The captain stepped aside from one wild swing. Cassian stumbled. His legs gave way beneath him. The greatest young soldier in the village collapsed into the dirt. No enemy had defeated him. No sword had touched him. He had defeated himself. When Cassian opened his eyes, he was lying beneath an oak tree. The traveler sat nearby. Cassian tried to rise. "Stay down," said the traveler. "I don't need rest." The traveler glanced at him. "Your body disagrees." Cassian forced himself upright. Rest makes a man soft. The traveler said nothing. That irritated Cassian more than an argument would have. "You think I'm foolish?" "No." "Weak?" "No." "Then what?" The traveler looked toward a farmer working in a nearby field. "I think you've mistaken excess for strength." Cassian laughed. "There's no such thing as too much strength." The traveler smiled faintly. "We'll see." The following morning, Cassian found the traveler outside the village. Between them stood an old balance scale. Beside it lay a pile of stones. On the other side rested a single white feather. Cassian stared at it. "What is this?" "A test." Cassian smiled. Finally, something he understood. The traveler placed a stone on one side of the scale. Strength, another. Courage, another. Discipline, another. Ambition. The stone-filled side dropped heavily toward the earth. The feather rose into the air. Cassian frowned. Of course, stones are heavier than feathers. The traveler began removing stones, one at a time. The scale slowly moved toward the center. Then he stopped. He pointed toward the stones. "Are any of these bad things?" Cassian shook his head. "Then why did they destroy the balance?" Cassian stared at the scale. He understood the question. He didn't like the answer. "Strength can become brutality," said the traveler. "Courage can become recklessness. Discipline can become punishment. Ambition can become obsession." Cassian looked at the feather. "And the feather? Too little." The traveler removed another stone. The scale tipped the opposite direction. Too little courage becomes cowardice. Too little discipline becomes weakness. Too little ambition becomes idleness. He returned the stone. The scale settled almost perfectly in the middle. Cassian stared at it. "So, a man should never push himself?" The traveler shook his head. "A bow that is never drawn is useless." He paused. "But keep it drawn forever, and eventually it breaks." Cassian walked away unconvinced. Balance sounded comfortable, and comfortable men did not become legends. For the next several days, he returned to his old routine. He trained harder, slept less, ignored the pain in his shoulder. Then word reached the village that a child was missing in the mountains. A storm was approaching. Cassian immediately volunteered. So did the traveler. They climbed as darkness gathered over the peaks. Rain began falling. The trail turned slick. Cassian pushed ahead. "Slow down," another soldier called. "We don't have time." Cassian disappeared around a bend. Minutes later, they heard him shout. He had slipped on wet stone and injured his ankle. Now the rescuers had 2 people to save. Cassian sat in the rain, furious with himself. The traveler approached. Cassian expected criticism. None came. Instead, the traveler handed him a lantern. "Hold this." Then he continued searching. Cassian could do nothing but sit and watch its small flame. Not too large, not too small, just enough light to cut through the darkness. An hour later, they heard crying. The missing boy had sheltered beneath a rocky ledge. He was cold and frightened, but alive. On the journey home, Cassian rode in the wagon beside him. The boy noticed his injured ankle. "Were you hurt saving me?" Cassian looked away. "No, I was hurt because I was in too much of a hurry to save you." The boy seemed confused. Cassian wasn't. Not anymore. Weeks passed. His ankle healed. Something else changed with it. Cassian still rose early, but not before his body had rested. He still trained hard, but he stopped when his movements became careless. He still pursued excellence, but he no longer punished himself for being human. The other soldiers noticed. Strangely, he became stronger, faster, more patient, and far more difficult to defeat. But the greatest change appeared during battle practice. A younger soldier lost his temper and charged recklessly. Cassian lowered his sword. Again, the young man frowned. "I wasn't afraid." "I know. Then what did I do wrong?" Cassian walked to the edge of the training field. He picked up a feather that had fallen from a passing bird. He placed it in the soldier's hand. Being fearless isn't courage. The young soldier stared at him. Cassian smiled. It's knowing how much fear to listen to. Spring's return, scale, vanished. Only one white feather remained caught between the roots. Cassian picked it up. For years, he had believed strength meant always doing more. Now, he understood something harder. Sometimes strength means pushing forward. Sometimes strength means stopping. Sometimes courage means fighting. Sometimes courage means walking away. Sometimes discipline means refusing yourself comfort. And sometimes discipline means allowing yourself rest. Wisdom was not found at either extreme. It lived in the narrow space between them. A shifting place, demanding judgment. Traveler vanished. Cassian could have followed. He didn't. For once, he knew exactly where he needed to be. Carry this wisdom with you, and may your path always lead toward peace. Until next time, keep seeking what truly matters. One story, one lesson, one life changed. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.